Let's step into a world where the thrill of the hunt, the cold morning mist clings to your skin as you tread carefully through the undergrowth. The scent of damp earth fills your nostrils, mingling with the faint metallic tang of the weapon strapped to your back. You have spent years tracking this thing, years sacrificing sleep and sanity, years following whispers that led only to empty caves and trails that disappeared like footprints in the tide. But now, you know you are close. The trees around you grow taller, their trunks unnaturally smooth, their leaves black as midnight. No birds call, no insects hum. The silence is not of nature, but of something far more sinister. You clutch your blade tighter, your heart pounding a deafening rhythm against your ribs. You tell yourself you are ready, that you are the hunter, not the prey. But even as you think this, a deep-seated fear gnaws at the edges of your resolve. Then, you see it. The beast stands at the edge of a clearing, its form blurred, as though it exists between moments, between realities. You blink, and it is suddenly further away. Blink again, and it has stepped closer. A cruel smile stretches across its twisted, not quite human face. It has eyes that do not belong in this world, eyes that hold the memories of things that should never have been. You have found the unbound one, a being beyond comprehension, beyond definition. It is neither god nor demon, neither flesh nor shadow. It is an echo of something lost to time, an absence where a presence should be, a whisper in the dark that stretches across eternity. It is a flicker in the periphery of vision, a breath on the nape of the neck, a shadow cast where no light shines. It is the first and final nightmare, the oldest thing in existence, the first predator, the one that hunted in the time before time and will hunt long after time is no more. And it has found you. Your breath catches as it moves, not with the deliberate steps of a mortal beast, but with a shifting of space itself. One moment it stands before you, the next it looms behind, exhaling a breath colder than death down your neck. The air around it distorts, rippling like water disturbed by an unseen force, making it impossible to tell where it begins and where it ends. You swing your blade, but the steel carves through nothingness, passing through empty space where the creature stood only an instant before. Reality bends in its wake, the very fabric of existence seeming to unravel at the seams. The trees around you appear to stretch and warp, their trunks twisting into grotesque, unnatural shapes. Shadows flicker and dance, as if cast by flames that do not burn. A deep, resonant hum fills the air, pressing against your skull, a noise that is not a noise, but a sensation of the mind unraveling at the edges. You stagger back, your breath ragged, your muscles rigid with the unnatural terror of standing before something that does not belong in this world. "Why do you hunt me?" it asks, though its lips never move. The voice blooms inside your skull, each syllable a razor slicing through thought. You clutch your head, gasping, but you force yourself to stay standing. "You killed my brother," you snarl. "You have haunted my people for generations. You will not escape me again." The unbound one tilts its head, considering. "I have killed many, and yet you chase me. Do you not wonder why?" It lifts one clawed hand, and suddenly you remember. Memories that do not belong to you flood your mind. A life lived in shadow, lurking in places where the light does not reach. The endless patience of the unseen hunter, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. A hunger that gnaws like a beast caged within your ribs. An insatiable need to consume, to chase, to end. The thrill of watching prey tremble before the strike. Feeling the electric tension between life and death, knowing that in this moment, you are the only force that matters. You stumble back, the horror of it choking the air in your lungs, the realization creeping in like cold fingers wrapping around your throat. You have not just witnessed these things, you have lived them. The unbound one grins. You have always known, haven't you, that the hunter and the hunted are not so different, that you and I, you refuse to hear it. With a roar, you lunge, driving your blade deep into its chest. A moment of stillness, then laughter. Not its laughter, yours. You look down at your hands, slick with something too dark to be blood. It clings to your fingers, thick and cold, a substance that feels more like shadow than liquid. It moves unnaturally, writhing like a living thing, seeping into the lines of your palms as if searching for a way inside. You feel it pulse, like a second heartbeat, a rhythm that is not yours. Your reflection stares back at you in the blade, but it is not your face. It is its face. Hollow eyes, darker than void, stare through you, through the steel, through flesh and bone and soul. The features twist, contort, shift between your own visage and something else, something older, something that has always been waiting just beneath the surface of your skin. A whisper slithers from the edges of the blade, curling around your ears, an echo of a voice you have tried to forget. You were never meant to be free, it hisses. You were always mine. No, this is a trick, a hallucination, a nightmare. We are not so different, you and I, the unbound one whispers. And suddenly, you understand. You have never been chasing it. You have been running from it, or rather, from yourself. The unbound one steps forward, its form dissolving into the mist. You reach for it, for your weapon, for anything to hold on to, but it is gone, and you are alone. The trees around you remain silent. The world is unchanged, but you are not. You do not return to your village. You do not return to your family. You do not return at all, for the hunt is not over. It will never be over, because now you are the one being chased, and the thing that chases you, it has your face, your thoughts, your voice. It speaks in the whispers of doubt that creep into your mind late at night. It lingers in every shadow cast by your own body, in every reflection glimpsed in still water. It does not need to strike. It only needs to wait, because one day you will break. One day you will let go, and then the hunt will end, but not in the way you had hoped. Imagine for a moment a city that never sleeps, not because of ambition or industry, but because sleep itself has become a forgotten luxury. A city where the skies are painted in perpetual dusk, neither day nor night, caught forever in that liminal hour when shadows grow long and the air turns cold. This is Belor, an ancient city carved into the cliffs of time, forgotten by maps, remembered only in nightmares. Its winding streets twist and turn, labyrinthine veins of stone and shadow, leading all who enter deeper into a realm of forgotten horrors. Each alley is a secret, every corner an echo of something dark and old. You find yourself there, though you don't remember how. One moment, your world was filled with ordinary trivialities, deadlines, commutes, the hum of fluorescent lights. The next, you are standing on a cobbled street slick with rain, the scent of iron thick in the air, and above, the ever-fading sun casts weak, dying rays across Gothic spires that stretch like skeletal fingers toward the indifferent sky. The silence is absolute, as if the city itself has swallowed every sound but the echo of your footsteps. Every step reverberates endlessly, swallowed by the oppressive stillness that looms like a predator in the shadows, suffocating you with its anticipation. You walk, not because you want to, but because you must. Every fiber of your being screams to flee, but there is no direction that offers escape. Every alleyway leads deeper into Belvor's embrace. The city tightens around you with every breath, its ancient hunger palpable in the cold wind that whispers down the narrow streets. The air carries the scent of dust, decay, and something sweet, too sweet, a cloying aroma that coats your throat like rotting fruit left too long in the sun. The city hums, a low, guttural resonance that you feel more than hear. It echoes through the hollow bones of buildings, long abandoned, yet somehow alive. Their windows gape like hollow eyes, watching, waiting. The streets are lined with statues of stone, each crafted in the image of agony. Their mouths are open, caught mid-scream, their eyes wide in horror. But the more you stare, the more you realize they are not statues. They are remnants, victims, caught in the city's cruel embrace, their stories etched into their frozen expressions. You do not run. Running means acknowledgement. Running gives them reason to chase. As you pass, the air shifts. You feel it behind you first, the breath on your neck, cold and wet, as if exhaled by something enormous. You dare not turn. You walk faster, though the cobblestones seem to stretch longer with every hurried step. Your heartbeat is no longer your own. It belongs to the city now, echoing its dark rhythm. The pulse of Belor thrums beneath your feet, drawing you ever deeper into its maze. Then you see it, the grand hall of Belor. It rises from the ground like a tombstone, towering over the city. Its gates are wrought iron, twisted into grotesque shapes, limbs intertwined, screaming faces, claws digging into the metal as if trying to escape. They open for you, silently, invitingly, as though the city itself has been expecting you. A breath of icy wind spills from the threshold, carrying whispers you cannot understand but feel deeply, like knives grazing your soul. The shadows stretch toward you, fingers of darkness beckoning you inside. Inside, the hall stretches beyond reason. A banquet table runs the length of the chamber, endless and opulent. Candles burn with cold blue flames, casting trembling shadows that seem to dance with malice. The table is set for a feast, plates piled high with meats glistening under the unnatural light, though you cannot name the creatures from which they were carved. Fruits hang swollen and ripe, dripping thick nectar that stains the white tablecloth crimson. The scent is intoxicating, a blend of honey and rot, sweetness laced with decay, like a siren song that burrows into your senses. And they are waiting. Figures draped in finery more ancient than empires sit at the table, their garments woven from threads that shimmer like the void between stars, stitched with patterns older than memory itself. Their presence exudes an unsettling majesty, an aura of power untouched by time, as if they had been carved from the very bones of the cosmos. The fabric of their attire whispers against the cold air, a rustle like the breath of forgotten gods. Their stillness is oppressive, as though they had been sitting there for centuries, unmoving yet impossibly aware of your arrival. Their faces are obscured by masks of gold and bone, intricate and horrifying, sculpted with impossible precision. Hollow-eyed and grinning, each mask is adorned with runes and carvings of unspeakable rituals, their hollow sockets watching you with the weight of countless eons. The masks seem to pulse faintly with an otherworldly glow, as if alive and aware of your presence, as if they can see through your skin into the marrow of your bones. They turn to you as one, a perfect, synchronized movement that ripples through the air like a chilling wave of inevitability. The air thickens with silent expectation, growing heavier with each passing second, as if the very atmosphere is pressing in on your chest, suffocating you with ancient intent. The silence is not empty. It hums with a dreadful anticipation, a waiting hunger that knows your every secret, your every fear. You feel the weight of their gaze pierce through you, stripping away layers of who you were, leaving only the raw vulnerability of your existence. You realize, too late, that they have been waiting for you, not for minutes or hours, but for centuries, perhaps millennia. The air around them crackles with the oppressive certainty that every step you took in life led you here. The city did not merely bring you, it summoned you, plucking you from the threads of your existence like a spider drawing prey into its web. You belong to it now, claimed not by chance, but by dark design, a piece of the feast written into fate itself, carved into the fabric of inevitability. One among them gestures toward the empty chair at the table's head. You sit. You should not sit. The feast begins. A servant thin as death itself emerges from the shadows with silver trays. The food is placed before you. Marbled meat, still pulsing with the last echoes of life. Fruits that breathe softly with every rise and fall. A glass of wine so dark it seems to absorb the light around it. The others dig in without hesitation, tearing flesh from bone, devouring without end. The sound of their consumption is wet, relentless, a symphony of hunger, echoing through the endless chamber with horrifying rhythm. Your hunger gnaws at you, ancient and primal. Against every instinct, you take a bite. It is exquisite, beyond mortal comprehension. The taste floods your senses in waves of ecstasy, unraveling your thoughts with an intensity that borders on pain. Sweet and savory collide in a perfect, overwhelming harmony, igniting every nerve ending with a fervor you never thought possible. Each flavor blossoms into something transcendent, notes of honeyed velvet laced with the metallic sting of ancient blood, a melody of taste so profound it eclipses every memory of hunger you've ever known. It fills every hollow inside you, not just your stomach, but every empty corner of your being. The forgotten grief, the abandoned hopes, the secret regrets, they vanish beneath the tide of pure sensation, drowned beneath a flood of blissful oblivion. Fear dissolves, doubt disintegrates. There is nothing but the feast, an eternal consumption that devours not just flesh, but memory and will. One bite becomes two, then three, then a relentless cascade of compulsion as your hands tremble toward the plate, moving with a frantic urgency that is no longer your own. The more you eat, the deeper the hunger carves into you, a void stretching endlessly within, demanding to be filled. You devour with abandon, joining the others in their silent, fevered consumption, lost in the ecstasy of gluttonous surrender. The sound of your own eating becomes grotesque, wet, primal, echoing in the vast emptiness of the hall like a dark symphony. Each bite sears into your soul, branding you with the mark of the feast. Every swallow is an offering of your humanity, every morsel a pact sealed in silence and dread. The more you consume, the less you remember who you were. You are becoming something new, something older than hunger itself, a vessel hollow and infinite, made to serve the endless appetite of Belor. And then you realize, it is not hunger that drives you, it is need. The food changes you with every swallow. Your hands tremble, your veins darken beneath your skin. You feel your heartbeat slow, each thud heavier, more deliberate. You glance down at your reflection in the polished silver plate. Your eyes are hollow. Across the table, one of the masked figures leans forward. Its voice is soft, like silk sliding across a blade. You understand now, it whispers, voice dripping with cruel satisfaction. You try to stand, but your legs no longer obey. The realization strikes you like cold iron. You are not a guest here. You are the feast. The walls of the grand hall pulse like a living heart. The air thickens with decay and old magic. Around you, the masked figures continue to eat. But now, you see what they consume. Flesh stripped from bone, eyes scooped from sockets, tongues cut from screaming mouths. And yet, the victims do not die. They remain conscious, bound in this eternal banquet, their souls devoured bite by agonizing bite. Your own body begins to betray you, inch by agonizing inch. Skin flakes away in perfect pale curls, peeling like fragile parchment from a forgotten tome, revealing raw, red muscle beneath that twitches with unnatural life. Veins throb with an eerie blackness, spreading like ink through delicate glass. Each fragment of flesh that falls feels like shedding not just skin, but identity, an unraveling of what you once were. Yet, terrifyingly, you feel no pain, only the insatiable hunger that grips you tighter than death itself. It claws at your insides with jagged fingers, an endless void that screams for more. Your stomach churns with emptiness so profound, it feels as if it could consume the universe itself. Your hands tremble violently, as if possessed by something ancient and primal, something that knows no mercy. You reach for more food, not out of desire, but compulsion so overwhelming, it drowns every shred of reason. Your fingers dig into the cold, slick meat before you, tearing away chunks without thought, without care. Each bite becomes a desperate attempt to fill the abyss within, but the hunger only deepens with every swallow. Every cell in your body screams for another taste. Every fiber of your being demands more, more, more. And somewhere deep inside, a tiny, broken piece of you watches in horror, powerless to stop the frenzy. One of the figures turns to you, mask slipping to reveal a face half rotted, teeth bared in eternal ecstasy. Welcome, it says. You try to scream, but your voice has already been devoured. And so, the endless feast continues. But you are no longer a guest. You are part of the menu. The streets of Belor are empty, yet the city is full. The echoes of past guests linger in every shadow, their hunger eternal, their voices devoured by the feast they could never escape. The wind carries whispers of despair, songs of those who dined and never left. The grand hall waits for you still, in the moments between waking and sleep, just beyond the veil of dreams. Should you ever feel the pull of hunger that cannot be sated, know this: Belor remembers. It watches from the edge of your nightmares, patient and eternal, and it is always hungry.